So today's video I'm going to discuss about how to get tenure or promotion at a typical research university. And here I am presuming that you are an assistant professor and you are seeking to get promotion to the associate professor rank. So this is sometimes known as tenure in some universities, and in some universities people are permanent right from the start, and in that case this could be a promotion. Now this particular video is based on my own experience and the experience of many people whom I know, and also being part of selection committees and so on. So the first thing to keep in mind is that all promotions are essentially political processes, and they are political processes because they are conducted by human beings, and human beings are not purely meritocratic or objective in their thinking. They make most of their decisions subjectively, and so various combinations of merit, subjectivity, and personal predilections and biases are involved when making any decision regarding promotion, and especially tenure or permanent position. Now, this does not mean that merit does not count. It simply means that a high level of merit is naturally expected, and following this level of merit, what matters is what is the level of liking or disliking about this particular person. And so there is a trade-off between merit and likability. So if you are a person who is quite obnoxious, then a very high degree of merit and performance as far as the CV is concerned is required to get you tenure at an institution. So now let's look at the 3 P's which are required for the promotion process, and these are papers, projects, and PhDs. So let's discuss these one by one. So regarding papers, I think you should have between 10 to 25 journal papers. And if you have anything below 10, generally there is some aspersion cast as to your productivity and your work ethic as far as research is concerned. Now it is sometimes possible to get promotion with papers below 10, and in this case you should have papers in exceptional journals such as Nature, Cell, maybe Journal of Fluid Mechanics, Journal of Mechanics and Physics of Solid, Journal of Computational Physics. So I'm talking about some of the journals I know here. And again, if you have a set of papers in these top journals and they are written by you and your students, specifically your PhD students, then it may be possible to get promotion with papers less than 10. And I'm talking here of top research universities. Now, what about the number 25, which is the higher bound? I would say that 25 is a higher bound because if you go much beyond 25, people start casting aspersion on the papers and they take a closer look. And here, if you have too many people who have written these papers with you, then this will actually dilute your case. And if you have been doing salami slicing, which is essentially taking a particular concept and writing 4 or 5 papers with this, then the titles of your papers will reveal themselves to the committee, and again this may actually backfire on you. So it is a better idea to keep the number of journal papers between 10 and 25 as the lower and the higher bound. Now let's look at conference papers. Typically conference papers are not considered to be very important in many fields. But conference papers do show that this person has taken the effort to go to the conference, and if you have published in professional society conferences and in top level conferences of learned bodies, then these may come out as positive. Now, the more important aspect about conference papers or presenting in conferences is that they help you to know the top people in the field, and these are some of the people who are going to be prospective referees of your work. So that is something we'll come to later, because you will need referees of your work for your promotion case. The third thing now, or the second thing, is projects. And projects are essentially funded projects which you have obtained, for which you wrote proposals. And here, the more projects you have obtained, the better. And of course, the higher the monetary value of the projects, the better it is supposed to be. Now, as far as projects are concerned, there is no higher bound. So typically, the department and especially the department chair, the dean, and the president like to see a very large number here. So actually, in many situations, funding is considered even more important than journal publication. So journal publications are given a lot of importance by your referees and by the domain experts and senior professors in the department. But the funding you have obtained is typically given a lot of importance by the chairman, dean, and university president. Now, why is it better to get a lot of projects? Is that you bring money to the university. Typically, the university keeps a good slice of the funds which you have received. And the university administration is typically not concerned about the fact that you have got a large number of projects or not, because the delivery of these projects is your concern. So this is something you need to keep in mind, is that once you take up a project from a funding body, you have to deliver on this project, and therefore you have to do a lot of work on this delivery in terms of supervising graduate students, making sure the graduate students are working in the proper direction, and the fact that the PhD or master's degree problems of the graduate students are in line with what the funding people actually expect from you. So again, remember that one should not go too far and take up too many projects, because ultimately you have to deliver on these projects, and the people who are supervising these projects are typically part of a network which you have. And if you do not do well in the project, these people will essentially talk to various different people, and finally this word will come to your referees through the grapevine about your performance in these projects, and that may have deleterious consequences. So now we come to the third issue, which is the PhD student. So this is something which is very important in most research universities. And essentially somebody told me once that PhD students are like your professional children. So in fact, in many cases, there are superlative candidates in terms of number of publications and projects, and they do not get promotion because they do not have PhD students. And these people may be very good research scientists, and they would probably have been very suitable in a research lab. But as far as academia is concerned, it is very important to produce PhD students, because like I mentioned, these are your professional children. And so if you do not produce one PhD student during your first round of promotion, then aspersions are cast on the capability of this person to really be a professor. So I would say one PhD student is a must, 2 to 3 is probably best. Now again, here what should you do to speed up the PhD student production? I would say is that as soon as you join the university as an assistant professor, you should take a PhD student, and you should insist on the department chair to give you a PhD student. You also should work closely with some of your PhD students when you are a new faculty, and this may require you to help them in terms of debugging their code, formulating some of their problems, as well as learning LaTeX, MATLAB, and so on. And this comes naturally to most assistant professors because they were graduate students in the near past, and therefore it is not very difficult for them to work with their new PhD students more as colleagues than as their professors. So this is something to keep in mind, is that you should accelerate the PhD student graduation at this stage, and later when you are a more senior faculty, you can be more slow in your approach. Now, beside PhD students, MS and BS students are also considered to be good. Again, you may get many papers out of master's thesis students, and so these are something to keep in mind. Now, people in the selection committee will peruse your CV to look for the names of the students and match it with the paper. So this is something which is very important, is that a majority of your papers should be with your master's PhD students, and they should not be with different researchers, or especially with your ex-professor who was your PhD supervisor, because that I have seen as a red flag, is that some people continue to write papers with their PhD supervisor, and then what happens is that aspersions are cast on this person's capability to work on his own, and this can have deleterious consequences. Now, one of the things which I came to know when I became an assistant professor is that at the end of this particular period, when you are assistant professor, you have to give a list of referees, and this is not just one or two names, but maybe 6 to 10 or more names. And these people should be of professor rank, or they can sometimes be directors of national lab or divisional heads of national lab. It's best to find people who are not only professors but also fellows of national societies, international societies, or professional societies, so that the references given by these people carry a lot of weight. And it's best to choose people from top universities if you are confident in your work, because the letterhead of this university has a big impact on the promotion committees. Now, how do you develop a list of referees is something which you need to do through a period of time. So this would involve doing literature searches and then finding out the people in your field, and then going to conferences and presenting papers in front of them, and maybe having discussions with these people on your research topic and so on. So again, you should also look at your own papers and see who are the people you are citing, who are the people you are following in terms of research, and all these will reveal to you the people you can give as prospective referees for your promotion case. So some of these insights you get when you try to find referees for your own paper. So it is something to keep in mind, is that this referee business does not leave you once you stop being a PhD student, and it will continue with you not only for the first professor promotion but also the second promotion to full professor, and also whenever you are applying for any prizes or awards or fellowships, you will also require a set of referees. So it's very important to keep a set of about 10 to 20 people who know and follow your work very well. So these are some of the basic issues. Now I will discuss some of the safety factors which you can create to enhance your chance of promotion. And one of the major safety factors is some prizes or fellowships which you can get during your tenure as assistant professor. So I would recommend you try to get some of these prizes, such as the Fulbright Awards, Humboldt prizes. There may be prizes given by your National Engineering Science Society or other professional bodies, especially they often have young scientist prizes and so on. And also you can go for best paper prizes such as IEEE Best Paper Awards, etc. in conferences and such places. Now, what all these awards tend to do is that they give this promotion committee a feedback that some committee has actually discovered you and has found you to be a good person. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, beside this, there is also the issue of teaching. So again, be friendly with students and try to teach well. Try to avoid any confrontation, any complex issues such as related to gender, race, religion, and so on. Be a very nice person, respect the students, and so on. You should also try to be a good citizen of the department. Be nice to all the people, especially to the senior faculty. Always act like a guest in the department, not like a host, and check your ego there. Now, finally, I would say that keep your CV marketable. Be ready to move to a different institution if you don't get promoted at the same institution, and this is very important for you. So I hope you benefited from this video, and please stay tuned to my channel for more videos on such topics. Thank you very much.